We finished our Enduro Bike of the Year testing, and within our top 5 is the Nukeproof Mega Pro 275. The Mega's seen some changes for 2018, which include being designed around a 170mm fork and also the use of a metric size shock. While the size small and medium frames stay roughly the same in terms of geometry, the large and extra large have grown quite a bit, with the large now sporting a reach of 470mm. The Mega's seen its fair share of success thanks to the Australian Sam Hill, who raced to victory last year in the Enduro World Series where he took the overall title. We opted for the Mega Pro 275, which in the UK will set you back £3,350. Now for that, you get the formidable RockShox Lyric RC fork and the Super Deluxe shock. You also get SRAM's GX Eagle 1x12 gearing and their Guide RE brakes, which uses the old code caliper, so a really big meaty downhill size caliper, and the current guide lever. What we're really pleased to see on the Mega is the use of the Maxxis double down casing tyres. So previously, some of their tyre choices hadn't been great, especially on the cheaper Megas, where the tyres had punctured quite easily or the compound hadn't been particularly great, so quite slippy, especially when it's wet. But now, throughout their entire Mega range, Nukeproof are speccing the Maxxis double down casing. So you get the High Roller 2 tread, which is fantastic and one of our favourites, plus they're much, much tougher and they shouldn't puncture quite as easily. You also get the 3C Max Terra compound, which is far more predictable in the wet especially. For this test, I rode the medium-sized Mega. Now, as I said previously, in terms of sizing, the medium hasn't really changed a great deal. Okay, it's been tweaked to take the longer fork and a different size shock, but essentially the reach is roughly the same as the old bike. Now, for me personally, I always thought that the medium could have been a little bit longer, but obviously Sam Hill knows what he likes and he likes that medium, so Nukeproof have stuck with that sizing, even though it's a big 35mm jump from medium to large in terms of reach alone. Thanks to the light Mavic wheels, the Pro accelerates really quickly and gets up to speed with very little effort. The only issue we've got though is when you push hard in through the turns or in really, really rocky terrain, you do feel the flex through the wheels. It's something that we've mentioned to Nukeproof and it sounds like there could be a change in the pipeline for that. Otherwise, the geometry is actually really spot on. There's a slack head angle of 63.9 degrees and a steep seat angle of 75.5, which makes climbing that bit easier. That steep seat angle, coupled with the relatively short 585mm effective top tube, does mean that when you're sat down and climbing, you do feel quite upright, and it's not quite stretched out as some of the other bikes in our top 5. Regardless, the Nukeproof still climbs really well, and the fact that it only weighs 14.34 kilos really helps this. On really rough trails, the suspension feels extremely well balanced and there's plenty of comfort in there as well. There's no harshness through the bars and it means you can ride the same rough track over and over again without getting too beaten up, which is great, especially if you're looking to do a long day in the hills or a big stage race. So while the back end's really supportive, it's also supple as well, and there's a good amount of progression there. I think I ended up sticking just one spacer in there just to get it ramping up a little bit quicker when I really thumped it hard into the bumps. But coupled with that really comfy Lyric fork up front, it's amazing just what you can get away with on the roughest, rockiest tracks. Although it's not the longest bike out there, or in our top 5 in fact, you still get plenty of stability thanks to how well that suspension works. That means on the really roughed up test tracks I was using, I still felt like I could push really hard run after run. I also really like how agile the Mega feels. It's great for popping over sets of routes or jumping from line to line or just sending off a big jump. But then when it gets tight and technical, it's great at just slicing a line and carving a turn, and it feels really sure-footed when you do that. The one criticism I do have with the Mega spec is the Mavic wheels. While they're light and accelerate really well, they are quite flexy, so that I would have personally preferred something slightly stiffer, regardless of weight. So, if the sizing does work for you, the Mega Pro is a seriously capable bike, especially when stuff gets really rowdy. It's really well balanced and it feels extremely confident on the roughest of tracks.